I want to share with you some of my tips and suggestions to help you with your goal of losing weight. And the first thing I want you to think about is actually the words that you use when you say, I want to lose weight. That's what a lot of people come to us is they want to work on losing weight. And in fact, 2 out of 3 people in this country are overweight or obese, actually, which is about 67%. It's actually about 75%, 3 out of 4 people now. So it is literally a massive problem. But language is really important. The words we use are important. And when we say we're going to lose something, well, our subconscious, our mind says, well, we need to find it. And 98% of people who lose weight actually gain it back because they haven't addressed the underlying or the root cause. And that's what functional medicine is all about, is addressing the root cause, finding the underlying cause. But first, let's think about the language we're using. So rather than losing weight, I really, really like to say, let's let go of, because when we let go of something, life becomes easier. We get lighter. That's our goal, right? We want to let go of something. We don't want it to come back. There's some other interesting statistics too. People that are overweight, 3 out of 4 of them at any given time are either on a diet, thinking about diet, or recovering from a diet. So we think about losing weight a lot, but we really don't know how to effectively go about it. Dieting and exercise alone does not work. You guys know that. You've tried it and it's failed. It's not because you're a failure. It's because you haven't gotten to that root cause. Now, what you eat is important, but I'm not going to really talk about that today. Exercise is important. It makes a difference, but I'm not going to talk about that either. I'm going to talk about 3 key hormones that help regulate your weight and can make it very difficult to lose weight. And the most important thing I want to talk about is actually your mindset around weight loss. And what I mean by that is, what's your purpose? What's your intention or your goal with weight loss? Now, when I ask most people that, the first thing they say is, I want to get healthier. I want to be healthier. That's a wonderful goal. And there's nothing wrong with that goal. But there's usually a deeper reason. And we sometimes are not even aware of it ourselves until we really dig deep or take some time to really ask ourselves those deeper questions. And for many, many people, and I know I've been in this group sometimes, it's about our worth and our value and how we see ourselves as a person. You see, we've been taught by society that our worth and our value depends on how we look. It depends on what size we weigh, what size we are, what size we can fit into, what we weigh on the scale. And a lot of people get on the scale every morning, look down and see a number that makes them have a terrible day, that makes them feel like they're a failure, that they're not good enough, that they're not worthy. I want you to take all those things, crumple them all up, toss it out the window. We have to let go of the idea or the mentality that our worth and our value as a person comes from our weight. It does not. Let me say this again. Your value and your worth as a person does not depend on your weight, your size, or the number on the scale. Your worth and your value comes from who you are as a person. That cannot be changed by what your body looks like or what you're going through physically. When you can connect to that deep truth about yourself, losing weight or letting go of weight becomes a way of loving yourself. You see, many of us are trying to lose weight because we hate our bodies, because we hate how we look. And here's the honest truth: you cannot heal or change a body that you hate. So start from a place of loving who you are, knowing that you're worthy regardless of what you look like or your size or your weight. And from there, the journey becomes so much easier. It comes from a place of loving yourself and caring about yourself and wanting the best for yourself. And absolutely, being overweight, obesity is linked to many health concerns, such as dementia, Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, heart disease. I mean, the list goes on. Being overweight is not a healthy place to be. I don't want you to stay there. I'm not making it okay to stay heavy, but I'm saying we've got to look at it from a different perspective and understand the reason why we want to let go of some of that weight. Okay, that is the most important thing that I want you to think about when it comes to letting go of weight. Yes, diet and exercise are important. The only thing I'm going to say there is most of us don't eat enough. We may be overfed, but we're undernourished. We really need to make sure we're nourishing and supporting our body to be able to do things like build muscle and balance hormones. That's a key for weight loss. So let's talk about 3 of those really critical hormones. These are the big reasons why I see people having what's called weight loss resistance, why people prescribe weight loss drugs, which, by the way, have a whole host of risks and harm that I'm very hesitant to ever recommend those, but that's a whole nother one. So the first hormone to think about is your cortisol. Cortisol is traditionally known as your stress hormone. Jackie and Callie have both been sharing a lot on here about tips for managing stress and regulating your stress response and building resiliency. Those are all tremendous ways to regulate your cortisol. And when your cortisol is regulated, it's way easier to let go of weight because cortisol is a fat storing hormone. If you need proof, look at someone who's had to take high dose steroids for any medical condition for any period of time. They're going to gain weight. They cannot help it because that's a fat storing hormone. So that's the first one, cortisol. The second one is your insulin. Insulin is a blood sugar regulating hormone, and we need it. Insulin is a key vital hormone to good health, but for many people, we're developing something called insulin resistance, which I like to call pre-diabetes. It's not the same thing as diabetes, but it eventually will lead to diabetes, and most doctors don't even think about checking insulin. Most people don't think about what their insulin levels are unless they're diabetic on insulin. Well, insulin is a major fat storing hormone, and without the proper what we call insulin sensitivity, that means your cells being able to respond and utilize insulin properly, you're going to gain fat. You're going to have a difficult time letting go of any of that extra weight. So that's a really key one, and there's all kinds of tips to help you regulate insulin. If you need some of those tips, we can share that with you. But the third hormone I want to mention to you today is your estrogen. And you might think, well, I'm a man, why should I worry about my estrogen? Or I'm a menopausal woman, why should I worry about my estrogen? Well, estrogen is a fat storing hormone, and men and women, including postmenopausal women, often have an imbalance or too much estrogen compared to what they should have, even if the level's not excessively high, and that promotes fat storage. And we get these imbalances in our estrogen levels from exposure to chemicals, toxins, pesticides, fertilizers, plastics, personal care products with all of those toxins in them. All of that creates imbalances in your estrogen levels. So addressing those things, minimizing your toxin exposure, checking your hormone levels, don't just guess check. That's one of the things I really believe in here. And then learn how to balance and regulate those hormones. If you can come from a place of love and caring about who you are, knowing your worth does not depend on the number on the scale, and learn how to regulate those three hormones, I guarantee you're going to start losing weight. So I will see you then. I hope you have a wonderful week for the rest of your week, and know that you're loved and you are enough. Bye.